They're the biggest, tallest, and most powerful. Few choose to face them.
The biggest days are close to 70 feet. Be careful, that wave could kill you.
Oh, wow! Oh, he got it! Oh my God!
Oh, he's dead. That guy's gonna die. Kaboom, it's delayed, and then you feel the ground shake. And in fact, Berkeley records it on its Richter scale, 55 miles away.
It's known for probably the largest surf in North America.
He needs to be able to get this boat out of here on one.
Few try to understand them.
So you have to model things at a large enough scale so that water behaves like water. And that's what we do here in this laboratory.
Deep ocean tsunami wave actually propagates very fast. It's about 500 miles per hour. The atomic bomb cannot create tsunami wave because it's not enough energy.
And even fewer can survive them.
We're taking on one of our vessel. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep it above water. Over.
Bad weather is good.
There's a very real possibility that my friends or myself could be killed doing it.
Yet all are in awe of the deadly force called monster waves. We see the ocean as something to conquer.
It's like going on a roller coaster, only more dangerous. It's for real.
Whether we take the bows of our boats and crash through them,
That was a good shot of the 47.
or scream down the side of a powerful 50-foot curl. Monster waves are more than just scary, they can kill you.
The most destruction by tsunami wave in Japan was caused on this small island of Okushiri.
We're all at the ocean's mercy when it throws its incredible force. Destruction. Violence.
Every time we go out there and go into the surf zone, that is a possibility. Without adequate preparation, the end result can be bad.
We'll show you what we know about this unstoppable force from the deep and examine why, despite the danger, we still take the plunge into monster waves.
Breaking one back, start now. Back, standing up. Right.
Most who face monster waves like these assume their lives are over. Fortunately, there's a brave unit of the United States military dedicated to risking their lives to save yours.
Okay, so one survivor's got the basket, paying out the flag, he's got the basket on deck.
They're the U.S. Coast Guard, and 3,000 times a year, they answer the call to action.
Okay, we're taking on one of our vessel. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep it above water. Over.
Roger that. Teresa Marie, Station Oregon Inlet. How many people do you have on board? Over.
Hip leg, broke ribs, lacerations to the skull and scalp.
Yeah, I got it all.
Pulse at 66, respirations 24. The corpsman's writing it down too.
Got it all.
I copied it.
This is Cape Disappointment, Washington. It's home to the Coast Guard's National Lifeboat School. They call it the Graveyard of the Pacific.
Break coming! Right.
This is where the force of one of the country's largest rivers, the Columbia River, collides with the Pacific Ocean. Mother Nature has created the perfect training ground. If the Coast Guard had an equivalent to the Navy's Top Gun school, this would be it.
The channel itself, the Columbia River main channel, is here. This is considered the bar area itself. The build-up, right here where the ocean swells meet the runoff or the ebb tide of the river. Typically a lot of water is moving out of this river, and a large swell offshore. Right here is the primary, what they consider to be the jaws, if you will.
Founded in 1983, it's the only school in the country where search and rescue are taught in extreme conditions. Facing these deadly forces are 3 of the Coast Guard's powerful and resilient 47-foot rescue vessels.
We'll get to a point where it's almost impassable on the bar, and everything shuts down. It will get that large, and waves anywhere from 50 foot and higher, even breakers of that size, so it can get as big as you like.
I think the mystique is it's known for probably the largest surf in North America.
In heavy weather, don't want to screw up. Pretty nervous sometimes. I don't know, like going on a roller coaster, only more dangerous, it's for real.
As a major fishing and shipping corridor, Cape Disappointment has earned its name. For the last 50 years, Cape D has sunk more than 1,000 boats.
It's nerve-wracking sometimes, a little scary sometimes, but overall it's exciting.
Okay, we're gonna push out to 10. We're gonna look for windows and saddles and use them. All right?
Today, instructors from all over the country have come to face Cape D. They're perfecting their skills, hoping that they and their search and rescue boats can ultimately master these monster waves. They might be the best boat navigators in their home ports, but out here, it's different. They're students, hoping to learn from the best and become the best.
You're driving like it's the first time you ever been on a boat. I know you've been on a boat before. Okay, drive it like you own it.
Well, I looked at it as a challenge because of the conditions that we have fairly often here. My previous unit, we didn't have the ability to have conditions as consistent and as often as we do here. I was just looking forward to the chance to get out and drive in the surf and get more experience.
Steering check, coming to port.
Joel Abstetter is a 10-year veteran. Stationed at Grays Harbor, Washington for 5 years, he's now at Cape D to learn one-on-one. His instructor, one of the Coast Guard's premier heavy weather surfmen, Executive Petty Officer John Gray. Gray knows even the most experienced pilot can be intimidated.
As soon as your bow rises, go right through to your forward detent. It drops. Sometimes they're just at awe, and it's hard to get them beyond that. You have to be able to do that also, to say, okay, now snap out of it. I know you've never seen anything like this before, but we're going to be okay. We're going to show you how to deal with it and how to walk away with a certain comfort level.
Second one back, standing up, braking. All right.
I'm getting a great deal of knowledge from the senior instructors and the rest of the staff here, so it's just going to continue to build my knowledge base and my abilities.
Okay, pay attention to making your bow stay square. Okay?
Standing up, bow, one more.
What do we need to be doing? Bam, getting it there.
These 870 horsepower boats are designed to face the worst of the worst. The pilots must be equally tough. If an unexpected wave attacks the boat, the craft is designed and capable of rotating a full 360 degrees.
Every time we go out there and go into the surf zone, that is a possibility. Without adequate preparation, the end result can be bad.
Right here is our center console. On the open steering station, we have our depth finder, also a speed indicator. We have an electronic display module. This gives us information from our engines and displays it digitally right here. Here we have our electronic compass. All of it is waterproof with the exception of the radar. That's why it is enclosed in this compartment here. That upper level, that's what you see, the big box there is the buoyancy box. That actually allows the boat to come back up if we do become inverted. The antenna with all the fingers on it, the 8 fingers, that is our direction finder antenna. That allows us to find a person in case they don't know the position. They can communicate with us over the radio, and it'll point us directly to where they are.
Should we take a hit, I become incapacitated, Joel take over the boat, get it out in a safe area, and then deal with me, okay? We got any questions? Okay, let's go.
At Cape D, pilots and instructors alike check their egos at the harbor. Out on these monster waves, there's no room for arrogance.
You're scrutinized in everything you do by the other instructors. Nobody holds anybody more accountable than instructor to instructor, and it can be pretty tough.
Turn in front of that wave, you got lucky. I'm not gonna drive this boat for you. You want the certificate, you're gonna have to earn it. All right?
There are clashes. There are times doors shut a little bit harder than they should, for example, because once we get out there in the surf zone, there's no place for that.
I want you to explain as you go, just like you would if you had students on the boat.
Okay.
Okay, tell them exactly what you're doing.
Lateral to port! Aye! Coming up! We'll wait for the series to clear! Aye! Brake coming! Aye!
3 miles from port, out in the heart of the training grounds, Instructor Gray is testing Joel Abstetter in a variety of critical boat maneuvers, taking the boat between and cutting through breaking waves at right angles. It's the most dangerous approach, but it's often the only way to get to a rescue site.
Let's do it. Right.
We're gonna push you out just a little bit, guys! Aye!
On command, Joel's bow screams through the waves. Other times, in preparation for any treacherous ocean conditions he may face during a rescue situation, such as retrieving a man overboard, Joel confronts the monster waves backwards, stern first.
300 yards inside range.
Aye.
Stand it up.
We do it by the numbers every time. If we dispatch a boat, if we're just out training ourselves, we still do things the way we teach them, regardless.
Watch your water, watch your water.
I watch that and make sure that they're doing that, and they understand how important it is.
Our goal is to get outbound as quickly and as safely as possible. Pushing out!
Aye.
Coming up!
Which has occurred in the past. He needs to be able to get this boat out of here on one.
When Chief Gray had me lateraling out on one engine, simulating a casualty, that's the first time I've done it with this boat. It's a new experience, just the way the boat reacts on one engine. Your speed's cut more in half, and your response is a lot slower than it would be if we had both engines in full power. A lot of it's being able to keep the boat, on station keeping, keeping it square, making every evolution as safe as possible for myself and the crew, and not putting us in jeopardy in any way. It's a new experience every time I go out there.
Brake coming! Aye!
After 3 tension-filled hours at the helm, Joel's test is over. He faced Cape D, took some knocks, but came out on top. He knows that at this level, search and rescue is all about confidence and experience. Through time, practice, and sheer courage, he's on his way to becoming the best of the best.
As far as adrenaline, anytime I get on a boat, it gets a little more adrenaline pumping once we get out there on the surf and see what the conditions are. And as the wave heights increase, the adrenaline increases. It's just a feeling of kind of awe that this boat, 47-foot boat's actually out there taking a pounding like it is, and it's doing its job, and it's bringing us and the students home every day.
Little one belt there.
I believe in what we do. You do have to think a great deal and make the right decisions, above all. If you make the wrong decisions, the physical part won't really matter. You'll break boats and you'll hurt people. So you really have to think about it, understand what the boat's capabilities are, understand your own abilities, and go from there.
It doesn't make any sense. So why would you risk your life on a surfing wave? Well, because you just want to. You want to be on that wave. You want to ride it. And then the same thing goes for taking the picture. You want to get a shot of this wave. Now the safest place is to be on land, very far away. But the most interesting picture comes from the place where the wave is actually going to land on you.
So our spot is actually the shadow all the way over there, where the wave won't break, kind of near the buoy.
San Francisco surfer and cinematographer Grant Washburn lives to be in what most of us would never even want to get close to: monster waves.
Magic board.
10 years ago, Grant was traveling the world surfboard under arm. He was on a mission to conquer the biggest waves he could find when he heard the San Francisco area had huge waves.
I came to San Francisco on my way to go on the surf trip, and I literally stumbled into what turned out to be where I lived for the next 10 years because I had no idea that the waves were this good around here. And so when I got to San Francisco, I thought, oh my gosh, it's heaven, it's big all the time.
For the next 8 years, he and a new breed of big wave photographers documented this location 30 miles south of San Francisco called Mavericks.
I didn't know what I was going to do when I grew up, if you would, but when I went to college, I definitely had the intention of either being a writer or a filmmaker or something like creative like that, because I knew I wanted to tell stories. And surfing was just my favorite thing to do. I was lucky enough to be the first guy to show up here with sort of any idea that the waves were worth capturing, and the initial people that were discovering the place really weren't into films. I believed all along was that this story and the waves don't need a surfer or a surfing background to be appreciated. I'm back here early.
Today, Grant is out in Mavericks with friend and professional surfer Jeff Clark. When Grant shoots, he's looking for the ultimate shot, a big wave ridden perfectly by a great surfer. And getting that shot has real risks.
What makes Grant Washburn a good cinematographer is his ability to surf and to assimilate himself into the waves that break out here. He's a large man, and he has a very innate perspective of the way this massive wave breaks.
But Jeff Clark isn't just any surfer. In the 1970s, Jeff was the first person ever to ride these monster waves.
I was a senior in high school the first time that I surfed Mavericks. Me and a couple friends, they would no way get in the water with me the day I surfed Mavericks. We sat right here from this vantage point and watched Mavericks break. It happened so quickly that the time it takes a surfer to get down the face is very small. And the decision you make when you turn to catch that wave is the most critical thing you'll ever do.
The story of Mavericks happens every winter when large ocean swells travel 2,000 miles across the Pacific Ocean to this 1 mile wide stretch of coastline. When they arrive, they collide with a 60-foot underwater cliff. The sheer force thrusts huge monster waves into the air.
The unique thing about the big waves is that they're so rare and it's so hard to get the right angle. So it's not so much that this camera needs to be that special or that I need to have the greatest eye in the world. What I need to do is be physically capable of getting myself in the right spot, judging where the waves are going to be. It's an ARRI, we believe it's an S, which is just a standard model, and it's a cheap model.
Grant uses a 30-year-old 16mm Aeroflex camera. It holds 400 feet of film. Only 12 valuable minutes of actual shooting time.
You know, this is it. You can make a whole movie with this if you were lucky enough to find one somewhere.
Grant picked up his first camera 10 years ago. It's the same camera he uses today. It has history. But for Grant, he knows every time he goes out, it may be the last time he uses it.
There's no way I can guarantee that I won't lose this. So I can try, but if the Zodiac gets flipped over and everything gets going down, it's going to be every man for himself and the camera at the bottom. And that's just part of the game. You take that risk, but that's part of the whole thing. You get the reward of occasionally getting this sort of forbidden shot and this angle and this perspective that no one will ever see. I couldn't get very close to the waves if I weren't in a boat. The boat allows you to get out there, allows you to get in a position that you couldn't be in. You could bring extra film, you can have, some water, kind of things like that. And typically we're out here for the whole morning, if not the whole day.
To give one a better perspective on how big and powerful Mavericks waves are, it's like being chased by an avalanche of water at 35 miles an hour. At Mavericks, 30-foot waves are expected. 50-footers are common. And when they crash, these huge walls of water actually shake the earth. You might think of it as a swimming pool landing on you.
When the wave falls over, and certain waves fall over in a different way, but they actually hit so hard that there's a concussion and an impact, that will shake you. Like, it feels like a jet took off. It thumps, kaboom, it's delayed, and then you feel the ground shake. And in fact, Berkeley records it on its Richter scale 55 miles away. Whenever the first swells start to arrive is when the first big storms go through the North Pacific, and that's the same for Hawaii and the same for the mainland of the United States. When this place still is, it's so intense, it's so dangerous that there aren't that many guys that are real interested in surfing it. So you have a place where the giant waves come and this sort of reef system exists, and it allows this amazing thing to take place, which is this sort of surfing spot for loonies. But we love it. There's not a lot of guys that love to do it, and it really is, it's a neat thing to be able to be out, out in the surf like this. It's a dream.
That's one of their jobs.
Once everything is locked and loaded, it's time to roll. Big wave photographers like Grant shoot from boats and jet skis. The jet skis are used to tow surfers into the face of waves too big and fast to approach any other way. Big wave photographers do whatever it takes to get the shot from inside the big breakers.
It's just everybody's out there together. The surfer, the boat driver, and the cameraman are all together. The boat's in the right position, and the light and the wave. All of a sudden, it comes together in one moment. But it's a tough thing to get. That's the commitment more than anything is what set me apart. I think there's a lot of guys that have come here with cameras ready to shoot, and if it didn't happen that day, then they went back to France or wherever they're from, and they didn't get it. And I was here every day for 10 years, and I got it.
Mavericks has rung true with the biggest waves in the world. What we're looking at is waves that throughout the year are always 50 feet tall. The small days are 30, 40 feet. The biggest days are close to 70 feet. And that kind of mass moving through the ocean is something that you really have to pinch yourself when you're out there playing in that arena, because you got to remember, be careful, that wave could kill you. It will make you pay, and Mavericks always wins.
The weather, the size of the waves, the sunlight. It's all out of a big wave photographer's control. Often in the morning, the swells start out modestly, but by the afternoon, they build. Slowly, surely, Mavericks comes alive, and surfers and monster wave photographers are ready.
There's waves breaking everywhere out here. That wave, and there's one on the other side.
Where's the spot? It's Mavericks, and it looks like
The seas can turn rough, the winds can change, and the swells surfers dream of arrive. A pro like Jeff can catch them, but often he gets crushed. And crushed again.
when the wave goes over the reef down there, the cracks are so big, when it passes over a deep spot, it's like an underwater waterfall that'll spin you down into the hole. And it gets so dark down there, it's not a place you want to be very often.
Undaunted, Jeff will hit another wave, hopefully the one he's been waiting for, a 40-foot swell that has built from thousands of miles away. If it breaks perfectly, Jeff can fly down the face and turn toward the photographer. Jeff holds the wave and gets close, so close, it's picture perfect.
Gotta get them right when they're there because they go away so quick. I mean, by the end of the, another hour, probably won't see a thing.
Whether shooting from a jet ski or from a boat, what matters to monster wave photographers like Grant Washburn is that they're here. The water, the waves, a camera, and a surfer like Mavericks pioneer Jeff Clark.
Day in and day out, he's in the water. He knows his element. He has a good eye for what is real in these giant waves. And he's not afraid of them. And that's the key, not being afraid to go play in this arena I've gone by him on my surfboard and he's swimming around in the pit, and I fly right by him knowing full well that he's going to get run over by this massive mountain of whitewater.
There's a lot of luck involved in pretty much everything that has to do with filmmaking, and I think, you know, you can only take the skill and the experience so far, and then you need that luck to carry you through.
Grant knows cinematographers will come and go. They'll try to shoot mavericks, but to succeed, it takes dedication, courage, and above all, time. Precious time to capture a monster wave.
10 years from now, I hope you find me right here doing very much of what I've been doing. And you know, the idea with big waves is that you love life. You don't hate your life. You want to be here. You can't wait till the next time the waves are big. So you're taking chances and you're enjoying yourself out there, but you're not going to be, you know, crazy, because it doesn't work that way. You want to be here and you love the surf, and I want to be an old man looking back at my, you know, what I've done, telling people that, hey, that was me out there, you know, I was the guy. But, you know, there's a very real possibility that my friends or myself could be killed doing it. It's just, you know, I don't want to regret that I blew it when I had my chance. So I'm just going to, you know, take it as it comes.
Disasters happen every day. Man caught in nature's wrath. It's an illustration of our helplessness against the elements. Hurricanes and tsunamis, and their consequent monster waves. When forces strike on the high seas, who's there to come to the rescue?
It'll be 25 minutes before the motor lifeboat gets here.
Meet the United States Coast Guard's first response team, the Advanced Rescue Swimmers. Faster than rescue lifeboats, they're the Guard's most mobile unit. And this is where they train, Cape Disappointment, Washington. Chief Instructor, Scott Dyer.
We are constantly looking at ways to improve our training to make our air crews and rescue swimmers much more adept at their job, where they learn techniques that they're not going to normally learn at their own units.
Cape D is a hotbed of activity for the Coast Guard. Lifeboat operators and rescue swimmers alike train here for search and rescue. The reason? It's where the heavy cold waters of the Columbia River merge with the monster waves of the Pacific Ocean. It's the perfect classroom.
Bad weather is good. Cape Disappointment has a reputation of having some of the roughest sea conditions in the country. Traditionally, November and February, the winter months, are supposed to be the rough time. Obviously, we have no control over the weather, but we try to plan when we feel that the weather's going to be the worst. That's what we'll be working today, pretty much what you guys were working in yesterday, so you'll be washed out to sea if the helo has to leave you on scene. So, everybody make sure you got your lunch with you. Get washed out to sea, may be a while before we pick you up. Here at the school, we've seen Army Special Forces. We've also seen pararescuemen from the United States Air Force. We've also had Navy rescue swimmers as well as Navy SEALs come to our training. But this is the only school of its kind that I'm aware of.
Aviation survival technician, Dave Kroll.
I've never been in waves like that before. And as you look out over the horizon, it almost looked like we were in a large bay because you could see mountains over the horizon. But if you look long enough, you could see they were actually moving, and it was just huge waves, and we were in awe. It was unbelievable.
This morning, the swimmers are beginning their last training day. They're preparing for their final exercise, free falling out of a helicopter into the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But first, a lesson in swift water currents.
We just said it, pretty much characteristics of the water. This gives us a little, mainly we deal in surf, so this swift water is going to give us a little more characteristics of the water. Learn about some eddies and just some of the attributes of the way the water runs. It's a little swifter and a little more unpredictable than what we're used to.
Our entire advanced rescue swimmer school is based on building guys' confidence. Once you get over the fear of your gear and wondering if your gear is going to be adequate or not for the elements, once you get over that, then it is a big confidence builder to actually get in the water and see that the things you do learn in class do work.
And Cape D simulates the roughest of open ocean conditions. Waves in this area have been known to top out at 50 feet.
We have Coast Guard air stations from Puerto Rico all the way up to Kodiak, Alaska, and down to Hawaii. So we come from a wide and diverse area of the country. Most of the time, the Florida units, the tropical units, and the Gulf Coast units don't see seas these big, except maybe during hurricane season. You tell them how cold the water is, but until you physically get in and feel how cold it is, you really don't understand how cold 50-degree water can be.
Mike, you get to go first. You're the tallest one. He's got his ferry angle and he's crossing the stream. Point your feet downstream. Point your feet downstream. There you go. He's getting toward the rock where he wants to catch the eddy. That's where he wants to be. He gets straight up with the current. Now he needs to get away from the rock a little bit. Attack it! Attack it! You start swimming for the eddy. Okay? That's how that works.
Once the river training is complete, the class heads for the copters and their final exam. Their goal? Avoid shock or hypothermia from the extreme water temperatures and get their survivors out of the water in under 3 minutes.
They probably haven't been in the sea conditions for their initial training that they're going to run into out here. So there's a lot of apprehension. And there's always, when you're going out with your peers, there's always a little pressure there to make sure you do extra well to show them how good you really are. You come out here where you have sea swells as much as we're hoping as much as 15 feet. The swimmer has to sit in the door and time when he jumps from the helicopter. And basically you want to jump into the wave, not into the trough. If you drop into the trough, you could be dropping for a long time.
We got one coming in, swimmers away, swimmers in the water. Swimmer is okay, clear back and left 30, swimmers at the 3 o'clock position. Tell them unless we hear otherwise, since the guys are just fine. No injuries, no hypothermia.
You do your free fall deployment and then you're going to immediately swim to the survivor and maintain control of the situation. Survivors obviously are going to be very panicky, they may be very hypothermic. You need to get there, take charge of the situation, establish communications, let them know that they are going to be rescued.
The helicopter and rescue swimmer act as a team. The pilot keeps his sights on the rescuer and the survivor. At the same time, he's looking out for large waves that could be disastrous.
They're pulling into a 15-foot hover when they're doing a free fall deployment, and they need to be aware of the sea state so that they don't get snuck up on by a wave and knocked out of the sky by that. Also, they want to make sure that they keep the survivor outside the rotor wash. It's very difficult to breathe inside the rotor wash of a helicopter.
It's like a freight train. You can hear so much noise coming from the wave, so much power.
For these rescue swimmers, that's only the beginning of their concerns. There's the possibility of a shark attack. There's the danger of poisonous diesel fuel in the water. And the little-known fact that helicopter blades can create huge charges of static electricity. When transferred to a rescue swimmer, like this trainee, the effect is stunning.
Bring him up, bring him up. Hold, back at 130.
The problem we had the other day was we had some fairly significant thunder showers in the area, and one of our guys, he became the ground, and the static discharge was building up so fast in a helicopter that he basically got shocked 7 or 8 times consecutively. If you've ever stuck a 9-volt battery on your tongue when you were a kid, it's about what it feels like, and you continue on with the mission. We had to take him out of the training for a while, but he recovered fully.
Once the chopper is hovering over the largest swells, it's time for these swimmers to prove themselves. It's their biggest test, untethered and on their own.
Swimmer is just now entering water. Swimmer's away, swimmer's okay. Bringing up rescue device.
The swimmer hangs his feet out of the chopper door. He times the waves and jumps into the 50-degree hypothermia-inducing ocean. Then another, then another. Soon the cold ocean is filled with a new class of Coast Guard rescue swimmers who have completed their final extreme exercise.
We got one coming in, swimmers away, swimmers in the water.
We're really small and insignificant compared to the ocean. I also learned that with the proper training that you can get through, you can perform your job and come out alive and in good condition.
With the training day over, advanced rescue swimmer Dave Kroll looks back on a session he'll remember for the rest of his career.
After completing the class and having never been in those kind of conditions before, it definitely does raise your confidence. It makes you feel more confident in your job, knowing that you can go out, get called on a SAR case, and know that, okay, I've done this, I've been there, I've done that, this is just another day, and you can perform your job in those heavy seas.
Every day of every year, millions of people around the world are on alert for tsunamis. In an instant, lives can be destroyed as these monster waves, some as tall as 1,500 feet, roar like runaway trains and crash onto shore and into civilizations. So unpredictable, powerful, and reckless, they've been called the Midnight Menace.
Deep ocean tsunami wave actually propagates very fast. It can propagate as fast as the jetliner. It's about 500 miles per hour.
Over the last 100 years alone, tens of thousands of lives have been lost. For scientists at the Pacific Marine Environmental Laboratory, or PMEL, in Seattle, Washington, their challenge is to come up with an early warning system. The first step? Understand how tsunamis move and behave when they crash onto our shores. Vasily Titov is one of the world's leading tsunami forecasters.
In Japan, for example, in 1993, the earthquake of magnitude 7.6 produced the wave that inundated the closest shore as high as 30 meters.
What causes these huge waves that can be 5 miles deep? They're usually created by underwater seismic activity, such as an earthquake, underwater landslide, or volcanic eruption. The energy they create, the energy needed to generate a tsunami, is almost beyond belief.
The atomic bomb cannot create tsunami wave because it's not enough energy in atomic bomb to create such a long wave that would propagate across the ocean.
About the only predictable thing about tsunamis is where they occur. 4 out of 5 happen in the Pacific Ocean. Hawaii, for example, is in the middle of a tsunami hot zone, a seismically active area stretching from South America and the Pacific Ocean to Alaska and the Sea of Japan. It's called the Pacific Rim of Fire. In the past 100 years, Hawaii has been hit by 12 tsunamis. The last big one, in 1964, killed hundreds and caused tens of millions of dollars in damage. Frank Gonzalez, Director of Tsunami Research at PMEL.
In the case of the Pacific Ocean, we've got one large plate. It's moving roughly north and west. Inevitably, it bumps up against a landmass. It gets stuck because you're talking about rock on rock. When it breaks, that's your very large earthquake. It's under the ocean. The earthquake lifts the ocean. The ocean in turn lifts, makes a big bump on the ocean surface, and that's the way that a tsunami is born. That tsunami can then propagate across the ocean towards Hawaii, towards the west coast, and of course, north to Aleutian Islands.
That's the primary goal of our research here. We are not reproducing tsunami just for pure scientific purpose. We're trying to predict actual events.
That's what makes Vasily Titov's model of the 1993 Okushiri Japan tsunami so valuable. The tsunami killed 230 people. Using the database, Vasily entered the size of the earthquake, the wave height in the middle of the ocean, and how far the water inundated the land. By doing this, he interpreted the tsunami's exact movements and created a precise 3D animation of the disaster.
Well, for the waves that propagate across the ocean, we have some time because for the wave to reach Hawaii from Alaska, it will take about 5 hours, even though the waves are propagating very fast. It produced tsunami amplitudes of 30 meters and higher. First inundated the island from the west side, which was the site where the earthquake happened. But then it went all the way around the island when we simulated this tsunami. And then we put together our model results with aerial photography and put together the animation of model results. We saw how close our simulation is to a real event. Knowing that, it builds our confidence that we can use models to actually forecast tsunami waves.
Today, using this model, Vasily can anticipate how future tsunami may act. He can enter an actual or predicted seismic measurement and its location. His model will then interpolate the data into a visual representation of what areas will be most in danger. To date, this is the most accurate tsunami forecasting tool in the world. And now the picture is becoming even clearer with the deploying of tsunami buoys. They're gathering deep ocean data that will help detect tsunamis at their earliest stage.
We've modeled hypothetical earthquakes that's generated in Alaska and produced tsunami waves that are propagating to Hawaii. And that's where our main focus of the research now is. We are trying to produce forecasting system. So this model helps us to determine how high the waves will be in the open ocean and how big the impact would be of these waves in Hawaii.
Amazingly, a tsunami traveling through the ocean may only be a couple of centimeters high on the ocean's surface, but the wave itself may be miles deep. And in tsunami forecasting, wave height detection is critical. Bottom pressure recorders placed 2 to 3 miles below the surface send wave data to the floating buoys. The buoys transmit the data to a satellite, which in turn sends the information back to PMEL.
We now have 3 buoys in place, 1, 2, and 3. 2 off of the Aleutian Islands in Alaska, and 1 off of the U.S. West Coast. If you're on a beach in Hawaii or on a beach on the West Coast and a large earthquake happens in Alaska, what you really want is a measurement of any possible tsunami that's generated made between you and that earthquake source.
1964 was the last big earthquake that produced large tsunami. After 64, we didn't have any large earthquakes that created large tsunami wave propagating across Pacific Ocean. But it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. It's not the matter of if.
There's still a gap between what we know about tsunamis and what we need to know in order to predict them. But now, in the Pacific Rim of Fire, all of the technologies are in place for a first alert. And for those potentially in the tsunami's path, there's new hope.
First of all, of course, I always keep in mind that the results of our study is to save life of people and to save some destruction. It's a big satisfaction when you see that these numbers that you're putting in the computer produce something that look very similar to what you can actually see in nature. We can never protect ourselves from this phenomena, but we can at least forecast the danger.
Two-thirds of the world's surface is covered by water. Water that turns to waves. Waves that build into monsters. Yet people hunger to be near the water. They build structures that must face nature's fury, and all too often, fail with no mercy.
We have had some studies where a structure has failed.
These monster waves are the enemy. This is the O.H. Hinsdale Engineering Lab at Oregon State University in Corvallis, Oregon. Here, engineers recreate ocean motion in order to test how structures will react to monster waves. Chuck Sollett is the director.
And so we will build a model of the structure and then produce wave conditions that they think may have occurred at that point in time, and we'll see if the structure fails in response to those, and then increase the wave conditions beyond that if it doesn't fail in order to find out whether or not it was probable that waves were the mechanism of failure.
This two-dimensional wave machine and this three-dimensional wave machine produce the country's largest research waves. The wave heights are up to a 22-to-1 scale. In here, a 4-foot wave is equivalent to an 88-foot monster wave.
This channel is actually longer than a football field. It's 342 feet long, it's 12 feet wide, and it's 15 feet deep. But we can change the bottom configuration, that is the elevation of the bottom relative to the water surface, with a false bottom.
Solid and his team are scientific detectives. They're hired by companies to find out how to combat the effects of monster waves on structures. In this experiment, they've reproduced in small scale an undersea pipe where the rock armor has become unstable. Each of the 3-inch rocks here represent boulders weighing 750 pounds.
The reason it has to be this large is what we often model the way that waves interact with ocean and coastal structures. And we're trying to design those structures to withstand the forces of the waves. So you have to model things at a large enough scale so that water behaves like water. And that's what we do here in this laboratory. You're not able to predict how large a rock it would be required in order to withstand a particular wave condition. And so we model that here. Maybe once in the design life in the structure, like a 1 in 50-year wave or a 1 in 100-year wave.
This is a replay of a wave breaking over the surface of the Orange County outfall. And you'll notice that we have a pretty clean line along here. Once this wave breaks, you'll just see that it blows out some rock in this vicinity. There's also some rock that'll fly over the top of the structure. And you see how the rock has blown out here. You also notice how it's rough over the surface of the model here. Blew some rock off the surface as well. So that was a single wave event that did that damage. Okay, this is the backside of the wave generator in the long 2-dimensional wave channel. And this generator board is 18 feet deep and it's 12 feet wide, and you can see it's driven back and forth by a hydraulic piston.
Though our fascination with waves often has to do with the size of the waves above the surface, often the most important factor in studying monster waves is the power below the surface.
The most familiar aspect of the wave is watching the distortion in the water surface. The water surface rise and fall, but beneath the water surface there's a lot of activity going on as well. And for example, the water is moving back and forth in response to the wave. It is this water motion, though, these velocities underwater, that impart forces to objects that are placed in the presence of the wave, whether it be the leg on an oil production platform, or a ship, or a pipeline laying on the seabed.
Professor Solid hopes what they've discovered here at the laboratory about how to live with monster waves is a glimpse into the future. He may not be able to stop them, but at least he can help us all defend against them.
We model things that you can't predict using the basic laws of physics and mathematics as we know them today. Processes are so complicated that we don't have mathematical models that we can exploit and solve to predict what's going on. Looking at how waves interact with either the natural environment or the human modified environment.
We'll never conquer the ocean. The raging power of the deep holds too many mysteries, and the paths of destruction it leaves in its wake is only a reminder of how little we know. Perhaps all we can do is try to understand what we're up against.
You got to remember, be careful. That wave could kill you.
Some hope to gain this knowledge through their own mortality.
This place still is it's so intense and so dangerous that there aren't that many guys that are real interested in surfing it.
Others through saving lives. And still others through scientific study.
We can at least forecast the danger, so we can save lives.
But our lack of knowledge of the ocean doesn't affect the ultimate fascination we have with the power, the beauty of monster waves.